Interesting. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome to another week in New Zealand, in which we're going to be spending an hour today speaking with you about traveling in New Zealand. This week has actually a couple of fun international, national days or whatever. Today is Bold is Beautiful Day, so if you are shaving your head, happy times. Today is also International Chocolate Day, and that is a good day. That is a good day.
Okay, so Robin, where's the chocolate? Where's the chocolate you were planning on treating me to celebrate this day?
Admittedly, I don't usually check that quickly on my phone just before the live session. I obviously plan ahead.
Okay.
Anyway, we are here to talk about traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand.
Yes, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan your trip to New Zealand. And that's including if you're just here for 2 weeks doing a campervan road trip, or you're here for a whole year doing a working holiday. We cover all that good stuff on nzpocketguide.com. So make sure to check that out if you're planning your trip to New Zealand. But if you're not really into reading, because that is a lot of reading to go through, we do this live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So you guys can come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to us. And just so you know, the times around the world, like I say, it's 8 a.m. New Zealand time on a Sunday, but in the UK and France, that's around 9 or 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. In the US, that's 4 p.m. PST or EST, which way round is it? 4 p.m. EST and 1 p.m. PST on a Saturday afternoon. In India, that's on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. And in Australia, that's also on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m. But there is a link in the description below so you can check out when the next live session is in your time zone.
And before anyone types it is also 12 a.m. in Dubai, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Sometimes there is someone that comes in and always type like what time it is in Dubai. So I think it's 12 a.m. in Dubai, if I am correct.
Yeah.
All right, so another week in New Zealand has seen a few very small amount of cases of COVID-19 in the country. So we are doing pretty well here. The restriction that were implemented in Auckland were lifted a couple of weeks ago. So the whole country is pretty much kind of free. The only restriction left are the fact that it's mandatory to wear masks in public transport in the Auckland region. So New Zealand is doing pretty well with that. When it comes down to us and to the videos that we've done for you, this week we did publish an extra video with some more prediction about when will the borders of New Zealand open following the coronavirus crisis. We did post that around Monday New Zealand time, and a lot of you guys have been checking that in and asking a lot of questions. We took all your feedback into consideration. A lot of people have been saying that the video was a little bit too long. We just felt that we wanted to give you a lot of context on why and how we were making those predictions, just so you knew that first they were just prediction and you knew the whole train of thought behind it. But we take that into consideration, and the next video is going to be a little bit shorter. I also published a video about the cost of food in New Zealand because a lot of people were asking about the cost of food in New Zealand. So that was a very different type of video where I'm literally just sitting in front of a computer and talking to you guys. So I'd love to hear from you guys if you actually did like this video or not, if you did like this new style of video, if I should do some more or not. So if you want to tell us in the live chat right now. Now, as a reminder, the way this live session works, you just type anything you want to ask us on the live chat right now, and we usually read it and we answer your questions. And we'll get started with Anthony Comstock that says Morena from California, USA. What does Morena means, Laura?
It means good morning in the Maori language, which is the indigenous language of New Zealand. And then we have Extreme Taloto, which also says, Morena, guys, how are you?
We're doing pretty well. So September in New Zealand is spring. So that's when the weather starts warming up a little bit.
Yes,
so
finally.
Like we just came out of winter, because if you're watching this from the Northern Hemisphere, basically our seasons are completely opposite. So when you guys start fall, we start spring. When you start summer, we start winter. It's just, that's how it works, right? So spring is around the corner. So the cold is slowly getting away. That doesn't mean that the ski fields are closing. Around what time usually the ski fields are closing?
In the North Island, it usually closes on the 1st of October or around the first few days of October. And in the South Island, the ski fields tend to close towards the end of September.
All right, so then we have Comas77 that says, he, Delo Pepe, you live, speak small, I fresh, French. So yes, I do speak French, Comas, so bonjour, but we are doing this session for everybody, so we only take questions in English. So if you want to type your question in French, I translate it and answer in English, but it will be all in English right now. We have AJ Shahal that says, hi there, I hope everything is good. Thank you, it is pretty good. How is it going on your side? He said, is there any news for those students visa holder who wants to come to New Zealand as soon as possible? So AJ, we did publish on Monday a video with our prediction on the border openings, and we also have a video on the channel about student visas and our opinion on that. But so far, when it comes down to just raw news, there has not been any announcement this week. There's not been any news, and honestly, our genuine opinion is that it's not happening until the beginning of next year at the earliest, if not, not the first semester and another. I actually did receive a message from someone that was studying at the Boston University that said that even their, let me just actually put that up for you to give you some context, but they were saying that even their enrollment for next year was actually already cancelled. So that's to give you a bit of understanding. But again, that's just so his name was Brian, by the way. So thank you very much, Brian, by the way, for sending us that. But yeah, so he was about to study at the from the University of Texas, and he was supposed to be sent to the University of Otago or the Victoria University of Wellington, and their enrollment for spring 2021 are suspended. So spring 2021 in the US is like February or something like that. And so February, March, so that was even suspended. So he actually got an email from his university saying that. So that's to tell you that even for like February or March, there's already some universities that just stop enrollment right now. So we don't know too much more about that just yet, and that's why we didn't do a video about it and everything, because obviously we contact people then to get some more information and all that before we talk to you about it. But that's to tell you already. So that's a bit I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Michelle Sandoval says, I want to visit New Zealand so bad, hopefully my family there one day. Oh, cool. Well, New Zealand is a great place to live in, so that's quite awesome. And Michelle says, do you recommend North Island or South Island for family living? Laura, which one do you prefer?
I think it depends what you're sort of looking for. The North Island is much more populated. So in terms of family living, you might find a little bit more variety when it comes to jobs, when it comes to schools, that sort of thing. So maybe you'll have more of a convenient time on the North Island. But the South Island is very beautiful. It's got really stunning sort of areas of wilderness and stuff. And it still does have, obviously, towns and a few cities as well. But just everything on the South Island is a little bit more spread out. So if you want to sort of explore and go to different places, it usually takes quite long drives to get around. And things are not so quite convenient there. Yeah. So, yeah, it just depends.
But if you're looking for the New Zealand sceneries and what New Zealand is actually about, and it's much better for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. Koma says, okay, no soucis. So he say, okay, no problem. Okay, so Extreme Talota say, I will speak full Te Maori, but I know you don't understand it. Anyway, did you see all my new video and new? And yeah, we did watch the videos of the singing. That was quite beautiful. It was quite nice. Thank you very much for sharing those on YouTube. Rack 81710 says, hi, this is Ashwin from India. Sorry to ask this question. Are you people not afraid of earthquakes? It is every day somewhere in New Zealand there is earthquakes. Are you afraid of earthquake, Laura?
Absolutely not. I don't really think about earthquakes. Apparently, yes, there are earthquakes happening all the time in New Zealand, but most of them are so small that you just don't even know they're happening. And yeah, I mean, the only few larger earthquakes that happened, there obviously was the famous one that happened in Christchurch.
And in Kaikoura as well.
And that's just kind of like, sometimes if the epicenter is kind of near a town, there's obviously the likelihood of, being a little bit more damage to buildings and stuff. But usually it's a tiny risk. I think you're probably more likely to be to crash your car or get hit by a bus or something. It's just one of those things that I think people are just sort of so used to. But if you're coming from somewhere else and from somewhere that doesn't have earthquakes, maybe the idea is a little bit scary. And I think things like natural disasters, like natural occurrences in the world, are sometimes a little bit amplified by the media to make them seem a little bit more scary than they actually are.
Yeah, basically every single time you see something about earthquake or this and that, it has to be a headline that will make you want to read the whole article and click there, and in order to see ads, right? So just keep that in mind and think about the context. And that's a great thing that you're doing right here, just asking people that actually live in New Zealand, what about all those earthquakes? And we have an app, there is an app that is called GeoNet, which is on your phone, and it kind of records like all the earthquakes that have been recorded around New Zealand. And there are earthquakes even where we live, like regularly, but you don't even feel them. Another thing with New Zealand is that they're really prepared for earthquake. So the first up, most of the houses are made of wood, so they're much more flexible in that sense, and so they resist earthquake better. And also, if you take the example of like some of the largest earthquake that we have, so Laura took the example of the Christchurch earthquake, and the amount of death that was in the earthquake in Christchurch compared to the population in the country was extremely, extremely, extremely minimal, showing the preparedness of New Zealand for that. So obviously, that's not to downplay the sadness of the death of all those people. Obviously, it is a tragedy, but if you just look at the raw number, New Zealand is extremely safe, despite the fact that there are earthquakes regularly. Just to put things a little bit more in context, earthquakes should not be something that you should be scared about. Saeed Zabna says, hello, I want to learn English in New Zealand. Is it possible? Yes, there are plenty of English schools in New Zealand. One of the great ways to learn English in New Zealand is to come in New Zealand with a work visa. So you come to New Zealand with a work visa, you are allowed to study. So you can study for maybe 2-3 months and learn English quite well. And then after you can hop either on the bus or in your car and go somewhere around the country, explore a little bit of the country, improve your English, maybe do a little bit of work along the way. And so like that, you can kind of learn it in the work environment as well. And then you can fly home and be completely fluent in English. It's a great thing to do. There is thousands and thousands of people that do that every single year. Hiroshi, hey Hiro, how are you doing?
That's been a long time.
Yeah. He says, Morena, guys, how are you? We're doing pretty well. Thank you very much. He also says, I'm good. I'm living in Wellington now, and I want to know what are the best free and paid stuff to do around here. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Zealandia, it's paid, but it's absolutely fantastic. I love Zealandia.
And it's affordable. It's quite cheap. Yeah.
It's not too expensive. It's under $20, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. It's probably around, I think it's around like $16 perhaps. I'm not 100% sure, actually. But
So you go to Zealandia, and it's kind of like a natural, like a reserve, right? There's some amazing natural, native birds of New Zealand. It's just absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love that.
That's like our favorite thing to do in Wellington.
Zealandia for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm pretty sure you've probably already heard of Te Papa, but that's obviously a free museum in Wellington.
It's actually the National Museum of New Zealand.
Yeah, it's the National Museum. So if you haven't already checked that out, make sure that is on your list. It is a must do. But there's actually a ton of different museums. There is the I'm not quite sure how they call it now, but I think it's just called like the Wellington Museum. That's another free museum in the city centre. So there's that to check out as well. Obviously, taking a stroll on the waterfront is always fun. Go to Mount Victoria. Mount Victoria has really good views over the city, so you can get some good pictures from up there. You can also take the historic cable car to the top of the Botanic Gardens, and the cable car itself it costs under $10. The prices are changing all the time, but it's quite cheap. So you can either take the cable car up to the top of the Botanic Gardens, or you can walk to the Botanic Gardens because they're quite huge. And they're very accessible from the city centre, at least. So that's a really good place to walk around, feed the ducks, see all the pretty sort of gardens, but they also have like bushwalks in there as well. So it is really worth actually having a good look around. We do have an article, though, on nzpocketguide.com, which literally lists, I think, 20 free and cheap things to do in Wellington. So if you scroll through there, there's bound to be a whole bunch of stuff that appeals to you. So do make sure to go onto nzpocketguide.com, type in the search bar free Wellington, and it'll be like the first thing that you see on the website. So absolutely go on there.
Yeah. Extreme Talota says, well, guys, I better go ready to go to Rotorua. I'll see you next week. Kai Kite. Thank you very much for popping in, mate. Are you going to refer rugby games every weekend now?
I suppose like rugby games will be happening every Sunday.
You're going to Rotorua every single week. That's quite cool. All right, so let's go back up. So Hero, I hope that you enjoyed the Laura's long list of things to do in Wellington. But yeah, it's an awesome time. You're gonna love it. Okay, where do we are? Angelina Coelho says, I'm a PhD student. I have been accepted by Waikato University in February, and I have been granted with a scholarship. Should I be afraid of losing my spot during the COVID pandemic? Well, Angelina, now we don't really know, right? There is a lot of uncertainty. We did a video about students in New Zealand with some prediction, but on the other hand also, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, we received an email from a message from a guy called Brian that sent us copies of his correspondence with his university in the US, the Austin University of Texas, that said that his placement in New Zealand was cancelled by both the University of Wellington and the University of Canterbury. So his placement was cancelled, for the spring 2021 intake, which spring 2021 in the US will be around the same time you're talking about, which is February for you. So some universities have already stopped, like the intake of international students. But again, that can change. If the borders are being reopened literally in a few months, they may just say, okay, well, then we're going to take students. There's going to be a whole hustle to get everybody back on track. We also have major elections coming to New Zealand in mid-October. So literally in about months from now, we're going to be electing a new prime minister or keeping our existing prime minister. Now, if our existing prime minister stays in power, it's likely that the current policy is going to remain about the same. However, if we change complete course and we have a different prime minister, which is from a different party, they may just decide we want to do things completely differently, and they may just reopen everything. It's politicians, right? They will do things different because they want to be different from one another. So there is a lot of uncertainty right here. So I can't really just tell you right now, should you be worried? If I were you, Angelina, I will have a contingency plan. No matter what 2 people on YouTube tells you, I will definitely have a contingency plan just in case, because that would be sad for you to lose an entire year. It could be literally just getting a job and working for a year, so you save even more money. So maybe you can have a smaller student loan, which may be good, or just studying something else, or studying in the US or something like that. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I said US. I don't know where you're from. Studying where you are. So I will have a contingency plan if I were you, and keep on communicating with the Waikato University. Ask them, what their stance is right now. I'm pretty sure they're going to give you something even more broad than what I just said right now, because there is really, really little amount of information. Steve Changela says, hi there, guys. I love your shows. Brilliant. Oh, thank you very much. I love the support. That's really nice. By the way, if you guys like what we're doing, you can hit the like button on the video. It's a free way for you guys to say thank you for all the hard work. I mean, we see that there is about 25 people watching the video right now. If you guys all hit like, that tells YouTube that we do a good job. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you to the 2 people that just did like number 10 and like number 11.
Yeah, here you go. You guys are awesome. If you are the person that clicked on and we're to number 12 and 13 and 10 and 11
now
and
15
it's
16.
Yeah, awesome. Look at that. That's so nice. Anyway, we're not here to just beg for likes. Let's keep going with the questions. We have Zaid Zabna that says, thank you. You're very welcome, Zaid. Matthew Stanford says, hello, quick question. Is New Zealand going to be opening borders for people on the skill shortage list for work visas, mainly teachers? Okay, so Matthew, you're probably asking this question because you saw some of the news this week, that the New Zealand government was saying that they're going to be a little bit more relaxed on who they're going to allow under the critical visa conditions. Now, this is still need to be extremely, this is still really, really, really strict conditions, right? So we dove into a little bit the details of what it was saying. But basically, if an employer will be able to prove that the skills that you have are extremely rare in New Zealand, and that like all this kind of thing, there is no one in New Zealand that actually can do this job and all that thing, then they may apply for that critical visa condition, and then depending on your condition, then you may get it. So as for right now, honestly, it will be like a nuclear physicist that we don't have nuclear physicists in New Zealand, that need to come, that would be kind of those kind of conditions at the moment, right? And obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's still extremely restrictive, and the 14 days quarantine still applies, and all these kind of things. So keep that in mind when you are kind of thinking in it in that way, right? I don't think that they're gonna just get people on the shortage skills list like straight away in. On top of that, even when the pandemic is kind of over, New Zealand will be in kind of recession. Like we the number one industry in the country is tourism, so a ton of people are lost a job because we don't have tourists anymore. There are a ton of people. There are hundreds of companies that went bankrupt, and so for this reason, New Zealand is going to prioritize New Zealanders for job, and we believe that some of the policies that they're going to implement post COVID-19 are going to represent that. So I think that right now, when thinking about kind of applying for visas and everything like that, is definitely not the right time. Everything is going to change quite a lot, and on top of it, at the moment, Immigration New Zealand has decided not to process applications from people which are currently overseas. So none of the paperwork you're sending them is being processed whatsoever. They only focus on people currently in New Zealand. So for all those reasons and more, I will say keep on monitoring the situation, but don't plan for a move to New Zealand anytime soon.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd love to be wrong. Like, Laura and I, the only thing we want right now is the border to be open and be talking to you guys, not about COVID-19, but keep on answering Hero's question about free and cheap things to do in Wellington, because that's the thing we like to talk about.
Know about.
That's the thing that we do like, we do like talking about, telling you what's the best way to go from Christchurch to Kaikoura and all those kind of things. We want to help you plan a trip to New Zealand. Our goal is to do that. We are a travel channel, and it feels like sometimes that this channel has turned into a COVID-19 in New Zealand channel. And it's a bit like, I hope we could just get back to, how fun is it to travel in New Zealand?
Yeah.
And so I know I gave you a lot of information and a lot of context. That's what we tend to do here, but I hope that you do understand the train of thought behind it. And you understand that I don't enjoy and I don't want to give you bad news. I just kind of, this is kind of what I think. And I'm not going to lie to you because you want to hear something.
All right. So, as I asked, hello, sir, I just want to ask you about the New Zealand border. Well,
watch the video we published on Monday.
Yes, we do have, we do videos quite often, usually once a month, to sort of give you updates on what's happening with the New Zealand border. And it's pretty much stayed the same for quite a while in that the borders are not open for New Zealand. The borders of New Zealand are not open to people just traveling, visiting on a visitor visa or doing a working holiday, those sort of things. There's only a very, very limited people that can actually travel to New Zealand from overseas at the moment. And that's basically residents of New Zealand, citizens of New Zealand, and people that have met a very specific criteria to be basically an essential worker for New Zealand. So, in short, the borders are not open for New Zealand, and there's no announcement so far as to when they will be open. So, borders are closed.
If you want a prediction, you can watch the video about our prediction. It's on the channel, and it's big, yellow, and red, so you can't really miss it. And we go through every country, and we give you some predictions.
Yeah.
Zaid Zabna says, does an educational invitation makes it easier for me to obtain a study visa in New Zealand? Probably, I'm not 100% sure. We're not visa experts. And in New Zealand, there is a law that states that we cannot give individual advice on immigration unless you are a registered immigration advisor, which we are not. So we can't answer too much of those questions about Immigration New Zealand. But you can definitely contact them or go on their website. It's immigration.govt.nz. And the website is very easy to use. MB1968 says, coffee drinking is awesome in Wellington. So MB, I know you live in Wellington. What's your like top 3 things to do in Wellington, so we can tell Hero what to do there? Do you like to go to Cape Palliser, climb all the way to the lighthouse?
He likes to drink coffee, obviously.
Yeah, okay. So top 1 is coffee drinking. MB, give us some more stuff to do in Wellington, which are relatively free.
Free or cheap.
Yeah, because Hero was asking that. So we got a local right here, which comes regularly. So we may as well just ask for some input. AJ says, hi there. You are both doing a great job. Thank you. I really appreciate your efforts, and you are spreading knowledge all around the world about news. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciate the love words. Yeah, lovely words, not the love words. MB keeps on going on about the coffee culture. Extreme Talotas talk about a rugby season. Okay, Zaid say, is there a problem at the embassy to take student visa after getting an official invitation from Language Learning Institute? I have no idea what you mean, Zaid. Again, immigration questions should be directed to Immigration New Zealand. We're more of a travel channel here. So life in New Zealand, traveling in New Zealand, that's what we do best.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on our strength, because then if we start talking about things that we know nothing about, then we spread misinformation. And I think there is already too much of that on the internet.
Yeah.
So we'll just stick to the thing that that we know. And if we don't really know, but we make speculation or prediction, we give you context on why and how. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
Steve, do you want to read what Steve says?
Okay, so Steve says, I will most probably be settling. Sorry,
Ooh,
I'm a little bit far away from the screen, I'll be honest. In Palmerston North when I go to New Zealand. Please, can you advise on some outdoor activities in Palmerston North? Kind regards, Steve. Stay awesome.
Oh, that's an awesome name. My name is Steve. Stay awesome.
I think maybe there's meant to be a full stop between Steve and Stay Awesome.
Steve, Stay Awesome. So I love that name, Steve. All right.
So there's cool things to do, outdoor activities to do sort of around Palmerston North. One of the highlights is Manawatu Gorge. They have quite a lot of really cool walks just in this one area. So we do have a video on this channel, actually, of us doing one of the walks in Manawatu Gorge. So yeah, type that in. Maybe Robin can show you how that's spelt.
Yeah, I will type that for you, mate.
Yeah, so Manawatu Gorge is really awesome, and it's just a good place to go for sort of some short walks for the day and see some beautiful New Zealand forest and rivers. And there's even a really cool sort of Maori statue in the middle of the forest that you can find as well, which is really cool. In terms of things to do in the city that's outdoors, they do have a really nice sort of walking and cycle trail along the Manawatu River. And guess what? We have a video on that as well on this channel. So you can see us cycling along the Manawatu River. But I think to find that video, you would just have to type Palmerston North NZ Pocket Guide and you would find our video there as well. And what else is there to do around Palmerston?
Well, so first up, you can go to nzpocketguide.com, and we do actually have a list of free and cheap things to do in Palmerston North. So it's www.nzpocketguide.com. I gave you the link in the where I typed in the live chat, where I typed Manawatu Gorge as well. A tip that I will give you though for Palmerston North is that I think you will need to get yourself a bit of a car.
Or a full car.
Or a full car. Yeah, let's go for a complete car. I think you will need a car just because Palmerston North is kind of located right in the middle of a ton of amazing action. So, for example, you're not too long of a drive from the Kapiti Coast, which has really fantastic things to do there. Kapiti. Kapiti Island, for example, has a beautiful nature reserve. It has fantastic beaches, and you can do a lot of stuff around there. You can go to a place called Foxton Beach. It's really awesome. So you're kind of central to go explore quite a lot of things. You're not even that far from the Tongariro National Park, all the way up north, where you can go explore where Mordor was shot in The Lord of the Rings, which is quite awesome. So there is a lot of outdoor things to do around Wellington, but you will need to
Palmerston North.
Sorry. So you will need to kind of get out of the city. So I would advise you, if you decide to settling in Palmerston North, to actually get yourself a vehicle. Here you go. Not a bit of a car, either a full car or an actual vehicle.
Yeah,
so
and if you're into walks, for instance, we do have an article on nzpocketguide.com, which is, I think there's like 25 walks near Palmerston North. So you could spend probably a good 5 years making your way through this list and going to do all those walks that are within an hour's drive of the city. So that's another option as well. So make sure to check that out.
nzpocketguide.com. The link is in the description below. All right. As the engineer 77 said, hi guys, I finally received the gift. Awesome. And thanks for the cookie. You're very welcome. So if you guys don't know, sometimes when we are reaching milestones, we do a bit of a giveaway in the channel and we do a bit of a game and someone wins something. And so the thing is, we send it all the way from New Zealand, and
it takes a while to get.
Take a while. So the engineer 77, can you remember when did you actually win that prize? Can you actually tell us when you won that prize, just to get a bit of a time frame on here? But we're glad that you got the gift. I can't remember what it was. I think coffee
I think it was an All Blacks coffee mug, and there was maybe cookie in it, or maybe that was the one afterwards.
I can't remember what it was. That's that long, guys. I really can't remember. But if you guys remember, like there is a lady called Kirsty Walsh that literally received a wine cooler that we sent her all the way from New Zealand, and it took close to 2 months to arrive. So it took a bit of a while, and but it's awesome that you got the present, which means, guys, we will be doing another giveaway, and we're not faking it. We're actually sending the presents. We will do the next giveaway, by the way, when we reach 20,000 subscribers on the channel. So here you go. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you want to be part of the giveaway, the odds are pretty good. Usually you only have about like 20 people. See, right now in the live session, we have 27 people watching.
Yeah.
So it's one chance out of 27 to win a prize. That's
to win a prize
rare.
that you could receive 2 months later.
But that's pretty good odds. So if you guys want to share the channel, you can share the channel, and maybe we get more likes. All right, let's keep going with the live chat. I know we are falling a little bit behind, but I will reply to everybody, even to someone from Alabama, which I read the word Alabama, and I think that's quite cool because I like the song. That's the only thing I know about your state, sir. Michelle Sandoval says, "What different prime minister? ? Exclamation mark. How do you feel about that? I'm not completely familiar with your current prime minister, but from what I understand, she's been doing. I don't really feel either way, like politicians are politicians, and some of them are much better at PR and so public relation, and so selling and showing their image and everything. But at the end of the day, they're all politicians, so it's a bit, there are some really awful ones in some countries, which we're not going to dive into that.
The bars are set quite low for what a decent politician is.
Nowadays, the bar is very, very, very low. So obviously. She's better than some other countries' politicians that they have to deal with. So that is undeniable, and that's an actual fact. Now, she's still a politician. So the way we feel about politician is just, she's a politician. So if it changes, it changes. If it doesn't change, it doesn't change. We obviously will be voting. But, when you go vote nowadays, you vote for the least objectionable option. You pick the least objectionable one. You don't pick someone that you actually genuinely, wholeheartedly root for it. Or at least that's how we feel, I guess.
Yeah.
So, we'll go vote for the least objectionable one. And that's pretty much it. We're not going to dive too much into politics, but that should give you a good understanding about what we think, let's be honest. Angelina Coelho says, thank you. You're very welcome, Angelina. Adam Glenn says, hi guys, I was wondering what tour operators is best for a solo traveler. So I'm guessing you want to travel by bus because I feel like, when you're solo traveler, it's more fun to travel by bus. You get some mates and everything like that. And so I love a company called Wild Key. If you have like a short amount of time in New Zealand, that will take you around in a lot of places, but also kind of smaller buses, and there's a lot of inclusion and everything. That's quite fun. There's another company called Flying Kiwi, which is a lot of fun as well. Very, very much focused on the outdoors. So you may even have some camping nights and stuff like that, which is really awesome. But same thing, most of the stuff is sorted out for you. Otherwise, there are companies like Kiwi Experience and Strays, which are a hop on hop off bus and network. Now, a very simple way to start researching about that is to go on nzpocketguide.com. Then you go on travel tips, transportation, and then you click on bus. And man, we have a lot of information for you right here. We've done all the research, we tried them all. You have like our take on everything. You're gonna love all the information that you have right here. And maybe once you pick like a couple of contenders, maybe let's say 3 contenders, you can come back to the live session, Adam. We do that every single week, and maybe we can compare them for you and chat about it together, depending about how long you want to spend here, what's your age range, what's your budget, and all these kind of things. So I think that'd be kind of a good approach right here. What do you think about that, Adam? Does it work for you? And obviously, if you do have a specific question right now, go ahead. MB says that Ardern, which is the last name of our Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, is very popular here in New Zealand. And he said, I doubt she will lose. So, yeah, the polls are in our favor right now, but we've seen many times that polls sometimes can be wrong. So we don't like to make too much prediction on these kind of things. Jeff Godzi from Montgomery, Alabama, USA. Nice. Look at that.
Hello.
Alabama. Now, I only know the song Sweet Home Alabama. I know nothing else about Alabama. So can you teach me one fact about Alabama that is not, there is a song about it and it's sweet
And
to
it's
be
where
home?
sweet home is.
Yes. Just anything else about Alabama. I think maybe is that where Wizard of Oz is set?
Kansas.
Kansas. Oh, well, you see, I am a terrible person. So yeah, teach me one thing about Alabama, Jeff. Anyway, aside from that, hello to you from New Zealand and welcome on board. All right, so Michelle and MB are talking about politics right now. Matthew says, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Michelle says she's from Los Angeles, California. I hope that you are safe over there. I know that at the moment you are dealing with raging forest fires. So I hope that all you and your entire family are safe. Kobus Koidzi says, hello from South Africa. Oh, nice. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing? Nice. Are you from Cape Town or where in South Africa are you? All right. So, MB, so the locals' take on 3 favorite things to do in Wellington. Here you go. So, from a local from Wellington called MB1968. What's your name, mate? We need to one day know your name, by the way. Okay, so he says, first up, go to the Te Papa Museum. It's free. Then second, he says, walk around the CBD and Cuba Street. So Cuba Street is kind of a really iconic street in Wellington. There is a really iconic water fountains with
buckets
that kind of fall out of each other. It's kind of funny. And what are some should-do things when visiting in New Zealand? Restaurant, bakery, pub, bar, delicatessen, desserts. Well, all of the stuff is food, Jeff. Are you just traveling in New Zealand for the food and nothing else? If you are, let's talk about food a little bit. You should try Jaffa's. It's New Zealand lollies, which is really hard chocolate. It's really good. You should pick up next time if ever you're in a supermarket, you should pick up a block of Whittaker's chocolate. It's really delicious. You should try some honey. There is degustation in a lot of gift shops and everything like that. Or you can buy it standing from supermarket, much cheaper than from the gift shop. That's my tip. You should try pie. They love their pies right here.
Savory pies. If you're from the US,
yes.
I know that's a bit of an odd concept, but
so they're about like that
pies,
big. They're savory pies, and you eat that for lunch, and they absolutely love it. You should try a soda called L&P. It's kind of a lemonade. It's not owned by Coca-Cola, but it stands for Lemon and Parora. It's kind of lemonade, local one. You should try a pavlova. It's a dessert, mainly meringue with a lot of creams and fruit on top of it. That's really amazing. You should obviously try some fish and chips, just because New Zealand is a sea nation. There's a lot of amazing fish and a lot of amazing stuff, but there is also some local Maori treats that you actually absolutely should try, such as fried bread and hangi. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so hangi is a sort of traditional way of cooking for the Maori people. It is basically slow cooking in an earth oven or an underground oven for many hours, which slow cooks food, which typically is things like sweet potatoes, sort of like different meats and sort of mostly root vegetables. But this slow cooks it and makes it nice and sort of like have a sort of smoky, earthy taste. And so that's like a really popular sort of thing to try in New Zealand. And there's a lot of sort of Maori tours that you can sort of experience that on, particularly in Rotorua, places like Tamaki Maori
Hi,
Village.
Lauren. Keep talking.
And also Mitai Maori Village.
All right. Cool. So, Jeff, we just give you a lot of stuff to do with food. I hope that's what you were after. It looks like you were really asking about food stuff to do. Okay, Michelle is talking about the current tragedy over there in California. We really saw that, by the way. In one sense, it's pretty good because it keeps people indoor for a little bit. So, but that's really kind of digging really hard to try to find a silver lining right here. It's pretty tragic. Denise Travis says, best Wellington suburb for family with six with 4 young kids, 6 to 14. Thought on Porura. So we're more of a travel channel right here. We like Porura. There's a lot of outdoor stuff to do around nearby. So it's a pretty good place. But when it comes to the finances of living in Wellington, I don't think we can really give you much advice on that, Denise, sadly.
Yeah.
AJ says, sorry guys, I think this is very funny, but I want to know which minister do you support? We don't really like to talk too much about politics, but in all honesty,
Honesty.
in all honesty, AJ, if you just kind of read between the line of everything we say, you kind of can clearly tell which way we're leaning. We're leaning toward the least objectionable option. Watch the news. There's one person that does a decent job. That's pretty much it. So that is it. But we don't like to talk politics too much. It can be too inflammatory. Everybody is different. We're a travel channel here. So, we're here to talk about traveling in New Zealand and how amazing is New Zealand. And hello, and Laura. So I'm not here. Hello, Laura, says Lucas. Yeah. So Lucas says, back after a staycation last week, can I ask if there are any story of people working their way to residency from working holiday visa, as there are some jobs that are shortage too? Yeah, they are. I arrived in New Zealand on a working holiday visa, and so did Laura. So here you go. Here's some stories of people working their way toward residency. So it does happen, yes, for sure. Adam says, cheers, mate, going on a working holiday visa when the border opens. Awesome. You're going to have a blast. Don't just stay in one place. Make sure that you travel a lot around. Do a little bit of research on nzpocketguide.com. Honestly, Adam, we put our heart and soul into that website. There is so much information for you right here. And, come back regularly here and, you do a little bit of research on the website. You come to us and we discuss a little bit about it and then come back and give us some feedback. There is a tool at the bottom of every article, and that goes directly into our email box. Honestly, when you say like this article needs improvement, and then you can leave us a message, it goes directly, literally into my phone. And I'm like, someone said that this article was rubbish. And so make sure you tell us when it's rubbish so we know how to improve. Memzies say hello from London. Hey, you got a countryman here, or countrywoman, actually. Kiwi Lauren, that's why I was saying hi to Lauren. She says, 5-minute break between musical theater audition groups. Hi from Canada. Hey, that's really awesome you popped in, Kiwi Lauren.
We've been listening to some of your music.
Yes, actually, guys, if you want to see someone doing renditions of almost every song you've ever heard of with a saxophone. Check out her channel. You can click, I think, on her name right now, so Kiwi Lauren, and check it out. It's quite fun.
Yeah, I really liked the Dr. Mario one.
Yes.
That was a highlight.
Yes. I can't wait for Tetris, I have to be honest.
Please do a Tetris
one. Okay, Jeff Godsby says, Montgomery, Alabama has some pretty famous history with civil rights, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr. Also, it's the Alabama. Okay, so Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, which we both know about, they were from Alabama. Oh, that's very interesting. Here you go. Something I know about Alabama. I love that. See, like that, we don't just always teach you about New Zealand. You teach us things about your land. It's fun. That's what the internet is all about. Sharing knowledge, not gossiping about conspiracy theories. Theo Evans says, I'm here on an essential skill visa teaching from the UK. Permanent job. My studying in England. Any ideas of opening or support route, as I haven't seen her in January? Cheers for the help. Hey Theo, there is thousands of people in your situation right now, and honestly, I don't think there is going to be a way to solve that problem until they decide to reopen the borders. And so that will take quite a while. If you want to know and have a bit of an understanding about when we think the border may open, and again, it's your opinion, you can check a video that we released on Monday where we give you predictions when we think the border will reopen. But sadly, I think that's going to happen. I mean, there may be some political kind of things where they kind of let some people come in just before the Christmas break and those kind of things, when they kind of like do that repatriation for all your loved one for Christmas to not keep families apart and everything. So they may do something like that. That's a theory that floats around, but it's unlikely. And I think that if there is no genuine reason of getting your girlfriend here rather than just you missing her, it's a bit tougher. And especially since you say the word girlfriend, so she's she's a wife or something. So on top of that, I think that's going to make it even harder. So because she will have to just apply for the visa and just say, I just want to come.
I think whether you're a girlfriend or married, I think it doesn't make a difference in terms of partnership.
I I mean,
yeah, I think marriage doesn't really mean anything.
well, it will
Maybe in some changes in
it
policies.
will depends.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we're not here to speculate on immigration policies. She has an opinion, I have mine.
Yeah.
I think we disagree on that. But yeah, so sadly, I don't have a really good news for you, Theo. Sorry. Steve says, let's not go into politics, please, guys. Yeah, we're trying not to go into politics. Now everybody told us to freeze.
We're trying to avoid it.
Yeah, we're trying to weave our way through.
So it froze, but apparently it must have come back since people
sorry,
are still talking.
It's YouTube.
Yeah.
We're very sorry about that. Sometimes it freezes, but we're not leaving again. Anthony is back. Hey, Anthony. Peptis is back from Belgium. Peptis, thank you very much for popping in another time. That's been a while that we haven't seen you. MB says something about politics. MB, we're just going to try not to talk politics right here, if that's cool. We're just going to try to focus on like how awesome is New Zealand and all these kind of things. But MB is saying that Kiwi Lauren is talented. So I think Kiwi Lauren, MB checked out your channel and yeah. But yeah, she is. It's quite fun to watch those renditions. So yeah, if you guys are into saxophone or just want to watch something a little bit different,
I'll see just some fun renditions of some fun different songs.
Yeah. Silly rendition of songs. You know, if you needed just a smile, just check her out. All right. Shush or Sush says, hello from India. Hello, how are you doing? Says, do you think New Zealand is a good option for young people who are in their 20s to settle down permanently? Yeah, New Zealand is pretty awesome. You know, if you're in your 20s, you must be outdoorsy. You know, you must be like kind of like fit and what
fit,
you know.
Yeah, want to go do some different things.
And if that's you, if that sounds like New Zealand is for you,
that's exactly what we did. We came to New Zealand in our 20s, still in our 20s. Well, one of us is still in our 20s, so yeah, we're settled here in New Zealand and are having a great time.
All right. Ali Wakas, he's asking a question. By the way, Ali is the example of what not to do on this live chat. Don't post your question 5 or 6 or 7 times in a row. We read every comment, right? So if you post your question just 5 times in a row, it just means for other people like, you know, it's just too much comments, and then some people are just going to be upset. Look, MB just said he just blocked you, so just don't do that. You know, it's okay. We will answer every single question. Just don't post it too many times. All right. So Ali says, hi, guys. I'm Ali from Saudi Arabia. I would like to know something. When I will visit New Zealand, which time is best for the tour of the North Island and the South Islands? Okay, so there's different seasons in New Zealand, obviously. So if you want to see snowy mountains and you want to experience the snow sports, so you want to go ski and snowboard in New Zealand, then you want to travel in winter in New Zealand. Also, the advantage of traveling in winter in New Zealand, you usually have cheaper rental for cars and other vehicles. And overall, even accommodation, everything is slightly bit cheaper because there is much less tourists. Now, winter in New Zealand is?
It is between June and August.
But if you do want to get, you know, no rain in New Zealand and only just really good weather, first, that doesn't happen, but your best chances to have better weather in New Zealand is to travel in summer. Summer in New Zealand is the most popular tourist season, so expect to have to pre-book things quite far in advance and to find which accommodation to book and which activities to do and everything. You can check out our website, which is called nzpocketguide.com. There is a link in the description below. It's entirely free to use, so there is no, you know, no string attached right here. And we talk to you about all the best accommodation and everything depending on your budget and all those kind of things. But we also tell you about all the activities and everything. So you will have to actually forward plan your trip quite well if you plan to travel in summer. Summer in New Zealand is?
It is between, where are we? December and February.
All right. So that's kind of like your two options. Obviously, you can travel in between and there's just going to be a bit of a mix of both. But best weather and higher temperature will be in summer. And if you want to experience the snow and all this kind of sport in New Zealand, you may want to do that. In winter, and also save some money. So here you go. If we have to choose our perfect season, we usually like to travel at the beginning of winter, end of August. That's usually, end of autumn.
Yeah.
And that's usually our favorite time to travel in New Zealand. So we're talking between the month of June, like around the month of June, sometimes late April, around the month of June. That's kind of our favorite time because we do like that there is less people around as well. And not that New Zealand is overpopulated, but there are, you know, quite a lot of tourists coming around. Okay, so now I hope that answered your question. And again, generally, you only have to ask the question once, and we go over every questions.
He says that you guys missed my comment, so that's why I posted.
Well, I think we just didn't get to it just yet, but like edit, we then just went for it.
Well, no, we didn't miss it. We were just making our way down.
Yeah,
the
we
list.
make our way down. Everybody, we just have to go through everything. All right, so MB says it blocked Ali. MB says winter is the best because there is less tourists. Yeah, we tend to agree. So, as I say, our favorite month is just right in between, around June. Michelle Sandoval says, do you guys have a favorite beach?
A favorite beach?
I like things which are a bit quirky and different and everything. So I like Farrell's Pit. It's a sand spit. Talk about a beach. That is an epic beach.
It's the biggest beach in New Zealand.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what it is. It's also, there's almost never anyone there. You can only go there with a tour called Farrell's Beach
Eco
Tour.
Tours.
Eco Tours,
Yep.
yes. And it is on the top of the South Island. It's in the area called Golden Bay. So I really do like that. I also do like Hot Water Beach, but it's always very, very crowded. So Hot Water Beach is a beach where you can dig yourself. You don't need a jacuzzi because underneath you get hot water and then you get the cool water from the sea and then you make yourself your little jacuzzi. It's really fun, but it's really crowded. So near the area of Waitomo, there is actually a better option with much less people. Lorraine, tell us about it.
Yeah. So on the west coast of the North Island, actually you can access it if from the roads from Waitomo. There's a place called Ocean Beach, which is another hot water beach in New Zealand that pretty much no one really knows about. It's near a town called, probably pronouncing this wrong, but Kofia. And it's another place where basically you need to, again, like at hot water beach, you have to wait until low tide so that you can find the perfect spot to dig in the sand, and some nice hot water comes out from underneath the sand and it mixes with the ocean water. And people going to this beach pretty much get the whole place to themselves or only have like maybe one or two groups there. So it's a completely different experience compared to hot water beach in the Coromandel, which sometimes nowadays you struggle to even find a place in the sand to actually dig because there's so many people there.
I missed a quick comment from Jeff because there was just so much reposting around. It said, no understanding, Rosa Parks was born in Tuskegee, Alabama, and Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Montgomery, Alabama was where a large portion of the civil rights battle took place. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess we have to brush up our U.S. history. Good thing John Oliver did a piece on U.S. history recently on his show. So here you go. We learned that history was just weirdly written sometimes. All right, where were we? So Michelle was asking about the favorite beach. Okay, Jeff was saying, on our last live feed, we talked about hotel versus hotels and campervan. I've done a little research and learned some folks purchase campervan and then sell them when they leave. Thought, we do have guides on literally how to do that on nzpocketguide.com. So yeah, that's definitely something a lot of people do. However, it's only like a working holiday visa and you'll be here for an extended period of time. Otherwise, and the time to resell it, there's going to be a huge amount of time wasted for you to be stuck in a city trying to deal with all that.
Yeah, we usually say about like the minimum amount of time to make that sort of worth it is usually around 3 months. If you are staying in New Zealand for 3 months, then by all means, that's a really good way to save money on rentals. But if you really want to have that sort of campervan experience or car experience, that's it's much better to buy yourself a car. But yeah, you do have to allocate some time in your trip to actually purchasing and selling.
Yeah, and also know that you won't sell the vehicle for the same amount of money that you bought it, so you're still going to lose a little bit of money. Still negligible compared to renting a campervan for 3 months, right? So that's why it's an option which is quite popular. But we have full guides on that on nzpocketguide.com. So you go nzpocketguide.com, travel tips, transportation, and then buy cars and campervan. There's a whole section with all our tips on that. And yeah, it's definitely something absolutely easy to do and everything. So yeah. Cobus Coitzes. Oh, I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I'm pretty sure I massacred that name. I'm sorry, Cobus. I am considering a solo move to New Zealand once the border will reopen. Will I be able to come over on an essential visa as a qualified chartered accountant? How is the expat community in New Zealand? The expat community, if it freezes, so yeah, if there is frozen comments, there's sometimes that does happen, but reposting it only once.
We're actually getting frozen again. Can you guys hear us now? Or?
Refresh and just write strongly worded emails to YouTube and tell them, God damn, just sort this thing out.
Yeah, let us know if we come back, if you can hear us, if you can see us, if you can't see us, if you can't hear us. It's back.
Yeah, it's back. Nice. What else do we have? NB says, accountant, have you heard of Xero, bro? I think you meant Xero with an X, but we do use Xero, and a lot of people
don't you have to have an accountant as well?
No, you don't.
If you're a business,
depending on the size of your company and everything.
Okay.
And, some of them is just become mandatory, but you technically could do everything yourself. But just for somebody, we're not going to talk about accounting.
That's the boring stuff, anyway.
That's the boring stuff. Peptis Nobilis have a strange question, and I think it's for Laura.
Okay,
Laura. Are French Bulldog a breed that you can find in New Zealand?
I don't think I've seen any French Bulldogs.
I don't know what French Bulldog. I like dogs. I just don't know what breed is what.
I think they're kind of like.
What is a French
pugs.
Bulldog?
Like they're kind of like those little little dogs with
I just need to see what they look like.
Flat faces. But yeah, I actually don't think I've seen many French. I can't think of any time I've seen a French Bulldog in New Zealand. Have you found out what they are yet?
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen many in New Zealand.
I don't think I've seen any. Yeah.
Maybe like... good thing we have a 3D view of what a French Bulldog is.
Wow. That's a
Google.
Nice little display. Anyway, so we haven't seen French Bulldogs in New Zealand. We have seen a lot of people have sort of like Rottweiler type dogs or other types of bulldogs. If
you guys don't know what a French Bulldog is, that's what we're talking about right here.
Oh,
here you go. Yeah, it's barking and it's okay. This is a French Bulldog. I had no idea what a French Bulldog actually was, but yeah. So no, I haven't seen much in New Zealand. That's an interesting question. NB, you're local as well. Do you see Do you see a lot of French Bulldog around Wellington?
Yeah, I think we live in quite a rural area of New Zealand, so the breeds of dogs people have here are mostly farm dogs.
Yeah.
So they're like larger dogs. They're usually helping. They're basically working dogs. So in terms of having small dogs and stuff, it's not really that common. I mean, we have a neighbor that has a Jack Russell, and that's something a little bit different to what you normally see. But the dogs that we see are working dogs. So.
Yes. So that was an interesting question, though.
You'll have to get your French Bulldog needs elsewhere, I'm afraid.
Flash Exo says, hi there. I left New Zealand back in December 2019 to help my family move back to the UK. We lived in New Zealand for most of my life. I have a full permanent residency. Is it possible for me to return? You will have to contact Immigration New Zealand to see with that. It will depend on your conditions. So you will have to contact Immigration New Zealand, flick them an email, and get that sorted as soon as you can so you get an answer. Then people talking about immigration stuff. Then everybody telling us how frozen we are.
And then Anthony's saying, it's back.
Yeah, then everything is back. So thanks, Anthony, Flash, Jeff, Michelle. Thank you guys for telling us when we're frozen, when we're back. We have Cook Wani says, are doctors needed in New Zealand? I think they are on the skill shortage list. But, again, the really easy way to know that is to go on the Immigration New Zealand website, and you literally can read the skill shortage list right here, and you know exactly if it is. So, we're not expert on that.
That would be definitely a better option to go on the Immigration New Zealand website than asking two idiots on YouTube.
Lucas is trying to chat with Cobus and saying, is accounting hard? I'm considering that field. I've just yet graduated and want to find a quick route to moving to New Zealand. Yeah, okay, so you guys can chat about accounting?
Yeah, we do have a friend who's an accountant, actually.
Do we?
Yes, Kelly.
Oh, yeah, she's an accountant. She's fun. I was thinking, accounting is boring and everything, but yeah, she's fun. I forgot she was an accountant.
Yeah, she is.
To be fair, we're not going to say too much about Kelly, but she's an accountant / Zumba instructor. So she's
volunteer firefighter.
Ambulance driver.
Yeah,
ambulance driver. So she's pretty awesome. she's definitely a jack of all, a Kelly of all trades.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I completely forgot that. That's crazy. All right. Catherine Hegarty is back. And hey, Catherine, how are you doing? She says hi from New Jersey. French Bulldog are popular in New York City. Julie Woodward said they are common. Julie, where are you? Tell us where you are. Cobus defends accounting and say accounting can be fun. Flash says, do I actually need to email? I heard that with being a New Zealand resident that you can enter through the border as they are exception, or am I wrong? I think you're better off confirming, right? Because...
Well, yeah, according to the Immigration New Zealand website, the people that can come back into New Zealand at the moment are residents of New Zealand, which is,
it's just permanent.
Permanent is...
Oh, yeah, he is, yeah. That's the thing. I don't want you to answer. Honestly, we're speculating way too much right here. I just want you to either watch the video that we have about our prediction when we actually read the information from Immigration New Zealand. We're interpreting too much, and we don't have the legal right to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting a stop to it right here. We just can't do that. So you check our video when we read straight away from Immigration New Zealand website, or you contact Immigration New Zealand. No matter what, quarantine will still apply to you, Flash XO. So you will have to deal with that. And Michelle tell us that we froze again. Damn. YouTube is not having fun with us so far. All right, guys. So anyway, that wraps it up. Sorry for being a little bit stern about this immigration stuff. It's just there is an actual law in New Zealand. I said that we don't have the right to get immigration. So sometimes you just go a little too, like too across the line. So we play with the line, but we don't cross it. And so it's just, sometimes you just need to keep it in here. Judy says she's in Christchurch and there are a lot of French Bulldogs around here, so they are easy to find.
Well, there you go.
Here's your answer, Peptis. I haven't seen a French Bulldog in quite a while. Francisco says, completely prepared for those 2 weeks. Haha. I hope to travel around January. Thanks for it. You're very welcome. It just never hurt to double check.
Yeah.
Adil say it's back, but there is a delay between the audio and the video. Well, listen, guys, it looks like YouTube wanted to be over now, so we will put an end to it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for another week. We chatted about, what did we talk about? We talked about, obviously, COVID-19 quite a lot, about free and cheap things to do in Wellington. We talked about campervans in New Zealand. We talked about things to do around Palmerston North. That was quite fun. Yep. We talked about French Bulldog. We talk about, what else did we talk about?
Well, we try to avoid talking about politics.
Yes, we try to avoid.
We try to avoid giving immigration advice.
Yes. It's just legal. That's the thing. That's not that we don't want to do that. It's just the law, right? You just can't do it. So as soon as we're about to cross the line, we kind of have to stop each other. And then I promise you can find some videos of some light chat where Laura stops me as well. So it's not just me stopping her. Jonathan, give us a sad face. Oh, we talked about, we asked a local for his top 3 things to do in Wellington as well. So we had MB 1968 that did that as well. We advised you to check out a YouTube channel from Kiwi Lauren where she does rendition of song in saxophone.
Extreme Talota went to go do the rugby in Rotorua.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what he went and did.
Exactly. And so I think we did quite a lot of we talked about a lot of stuff, which was awesome, and we'll do that again next week. So if you did find this session useful, hit the like button. It's a great way to say thank you for all our hard work. And if you want to not miss next week, just hit subscribe. You get a notification. We will publish.
Tick the bell button. The bell button is the thing that gives you the notifications on
so
YouTube.
Tickle Laura's belly button, apparently. No, did I misunderstood what's happening?
We can do that as well. Anyway. Bell button, YouTube, press it, gives notifications. Subscribe doesn't do much other than makes our subscriber count look good and get us closer to doing another giveaway on this channel. When are we doing the next giveaway? Next time we reach 90,000? 20,000 subscribers. There you go. I don't even know how many subscribers we have now. Yeah, Catherine Hingati says she's sorry she was late. She was having laundry and dinner. Thank you, guys. See you next week. You're very welcome. Lucas, it's great to see you both. You again. Thank you for answering my question again. Hope to see you next week. Michelle Sandoval says thank you so much. I love the fact that always taking the time to say thank you, by the way. I just want to say that. We have a very polite audience. I know. It's so nice. Like everybody's always say thank you when we answer their question. And that, I feel like it's kind of
a happy place of the internet. You know, I feel like every week we do this for 1 hour. We talk about traveling in New Zealand, which is kind of a dreamy thing to do, obviously. And I know right now it seems like a bit of a far-fetched dream with all the chaos happening worldwide, but it's a dream nonetheless. And it's something nice to look forward to. And by doing that, we create a happy place on the internet when everybody's nice, polite, having fun, respectful. And yes, sometimes we teeter the line with politics and this and that. And we just kind of like, you know, you guys also understand, you know, like I feel like so many other places would be like, no, I want you to talk about politics. So I want, you know, and keep on bringing things. But, you know, as soon as we say like, oh, we'd like talk about politics, you know, everybody respects that and is really respectful. So you guys are really awesome. I just want to take a second to point that out. Anyway, you guys are awesome. You all rock. Thank you, David Burrow. You're awesome as well. I also like that a lot of you guys actually are commenting, you know, just kind of lurking and just watching, and you guys are just interacting with us.
Because that's what Robin usually does on YouTube.
I know. I actually try not to do that.
I started going on live
I try not to do that because of you guys. By the way, just completely off context, right? I watch a lot of YouTube videos for some of my other hobbies, and I watch a lot of live stuff and even a lot of videos and stuff. And because you guys are interacting with us so much, I kind of feel like, you know what, those guys are really nice. And so I feel for the other content creator, other people, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell them that their video is awesome. I'm going to tell them they're great. I'm going to click this like button. I feel like, you know, it's kind of like, it's a positive kind of things. Because I, honestly, for decades, I've been just a lurker of the internet. I've taken a lot of information and I've not given anything back or anything. And that, not by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not giving anything back to all those content producers or anything like that. I'm just saying, oh, you did a good job. And I just click a like, or I just, you know, interact when I watch a live session and they ask a question. I answer the question, you know. And that's because of you guys. So just saying, you made me a better internet person.
That's nice.
Yeah, so here you go. Catherine says belly button too. So belly button.
Click on the belly button.
Yeah, here you go. And I hope that, you know, we're giving you back about information about New Zealand and everything. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, that's just way too much buttery goodness and niceness right here. It's going to feel awkward. So, very much, guys. We'll be back next week at exactly the same time. That's 8 a.m. New Zealand time every single day, which is probably Saturday on your side of the planet at those times. Laura, tell them, people.
On Saturday evening in the UK and France, that's around 9 or 10 p.m. In the US, it's on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. PST. In Australia, that is bright and early on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m. And in India, that is also early on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. But you can find a link in the description below to tell you when our next live session is in your time zone.
Yes, and I will post an announcement for this next live session very shortly on YouTube. It usually takes us about 10 minutes after the live session to do that. NZPocketGuide.com. You can pick up brain 24/7 because there is so much information there, and that's all the knowledge that we have about New Zealand. We publish ton of new articles every single week, like tens and tens of articles every single week. Plus, we do have a schedule of video coming up, so we won't leave you alone. Anyway, bye-bye.
See you next week and stay safe, people.